reorganization and regular meeting of the Springfield County Planning Board. This meeting is called pursuant to the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Law. Notice of this meeting is included in the list of meetings sent to the Co-Star and Asbury Park Press, posted on the bulletin board in municipal buildings and on the borough website. And you will all rise, please.
The United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The board is newly adopted rules. We actually have a procedure for a reorg meeting. Either Janine or I would conduct the meeting until we elect a chairman. Janine has directed that I do it. So we just ask for a roll call vote. I would note for the record that all board members who are present, those who are reappointed or whose terms are beginning, have been sworn in, so everyone is qualified to vote. You call the roll, Janine?
Mrs. Eilenberger? Here. Mr. Francolino?
Here.
Mr. Hackett?
Here.
Mrs. Haydick? Here. Mr. American?
Here.
Mr. Manger?
Here.
Mr. Novak?
Here.
Mayor O'Brien?
Here.
Mr. Clark absent.
So the first item of business is the nomination and election of a board chairperson. Do I have any other?
Eileen Eilenberger.
A second.
No. Moved by the mayor, moved by Mr. Hackett, seconded by the mayor. Are there any further nominations? Seeing none, I close the nomination. Can we have a roll call vote, please?
Mrs. Eilenberger?
Yes.
Mr. Francolino?
Yes.
Mr. Hackett?
Yes.
Ms. Haydick?
Yes.
Mr. American?
Yes.
Mr. Manger?
Yes.
Mr. Novak?
Yes.
Mayor O'Brien?
Yes.
I'm glad he's affirmed the chair.
We now have a chair.
Thank you, Steve. Congratulations, Eileen.
Thank you. Is this the first time you've had a woman chairperson that anyone knows?
We need to change the agenda, right? It says chairman.
Okay, the next item on the agenda then is a nomination of the vice chair, and I'd like to nominate James Hackett.
Second that motion.
And I'd call for a roll call vote. Janine?
Mrs. Eilenberger?
Yes.
Mr. Francolino?
Yes.
Mr. Hackett?
Yes.
Ms. Haydick?
Yes.
Mr. American?
Yes.
Mr. Manger?
Yes.
Mr. Novak?
Yes.
Mayor O'Brien?
Yes.
We have a vice chair.
And next appointment is a resolution appointing a board attorney. I'd like to make a nomination.
I'd like to nominate Dennis Collins.
A second.
Okay. Roll call, Judy?
I just needed to clarify, who was the second?
Nancy.
Nancy was
Nancy.
first, and
Oh,
Mr.
I'm sorry.
American?
Nancy,
Okay.
no. Well, sorry.
Mrs. Eilenberger?
Yes.
Mr. Francolino?
Yes.
Mr. Hackett?
Yes.
Ms. Haydick?
Yes.
Mr. American?
Yes.
Mr. Manger?
Yes.
Mr. Novak?
Yes.
Mayor O'Brien?
Yes.
Congratulations, Mr. Collins.
Thank you very much.
Welcome back.
Appreciate it.
And next is like a resolution to appoint a board engineer.
And I'm not Joe May.
I'll second that.
Roll call, Judy?
Mrs. Eilenberger?
Yes.
Mr. Francolino?
Yes.
Mr. Hackett?
Yes.
Ms. Haydick?
Yes.
Mr. American?
Yes.
Mr. Manger?
Yes.
Mr. Novak?
Yes.
Mayor O'Brien?
Yes.
Have an engineer, congratulations.
Congrats, Joe.
Next is the nomination for resolution appointing a recording secretary for the board, which is Janine.
I second it.
It sounded like a first.
Yes. Sorry. I'll make it the first. Okay. Roll call, Janine?
Mrs. Eilenberger?
Yes.
Mr. Francolino?
Yes.
Mr. Hackett?
Yes.
Ms. Haydick?
Yes.
Mr. American?
Yes.
Mr. Manger?
Yes.
Mr. Novak?
Yes.
Mayor O'Brien?
Yes.
Thank you.
And now we have our meeting date and time, which I think you put that
I had it right.
resolution there,
Mhm.
right? I just want everybody to look over the dates.
It is the third Wednesday at 7, like
Right.
our normal schedule is, but we just wanted everybody to take a look, in particular, in in November and December because of the holiday.
Right.
That
Now we-
December date is pretty close.
Well, that's what I was wondering, did we want to move the December date back a week? Does everybody have a?
Yeah.
Yeah, move it, yeah.
And underneath the plastic is a yearly calendar, and you can look to see if there's a date that you think might work better.
We're on the
Change it to
20th.
Yes, December 20th, yeah. It'd be if we went to a Wednesday, it'd be the 13th.
Yeah, I nominate that we move it, the December date to the 13th.
I mean, we just want to check with our professionals, and they would be
Can you make
available
it,
too.
guys?
I can make it. Well, we'll figure it out. It's enough advanced enough.
Right. All right, so we're going to change December to the 13th.
What was wrong with the 20th?
Well, it's kind of, it's pretty close to the holiday.
That would make, I calculated a lot.
Yeah. That's it, okay. Okay, so, as long as everyone's satisfied with that, can I have a motion to accept these meeting dates and time?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Roll call?
Mrs. Eilenberger,
Yes.
Mr. Francolino,
Yes.
Mr. Hackett,
Yes.
Ms. Haydick, Mr. American,
Yes.
Mr. Manger,
Yes.
Mr. Novak,
Yes.
Mayor O'Brien.
Yes.
And last, we need nomination for the newspapers that are notices for the board, which are just the post or
And the Asbury
and
Park
the
Press.
Someone can make a motion.
I'll make a second.
Roll call?
Mrs. Eilenberger,
Yes.
Mr. Francolino,
Yes.
Mr. Hackett,
Yes.
Ms. Haydick, Mr. American,
Yes.
Mr. Manger,
Yes.
Mr. Novak,
Yes.
Mayor O'Brien.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, that's it, right?
That's it for that.
Okay. Now, do we close this and open it up, or do we just go on?
Either way, I don't know what your history is, it doesn't matter, you go right into the regular meeting, or you can restart it, it's up to you.
So go right into the.
I did say it was the reorg and the regular meeting, so you don't have to re-announce.
All right, so going right into the regular, so we, I guess, I'll probably just do a roll call again, just to be sure, just to make it official.
Sure.
Let's be clear.
Mrs. Eilenberger,
Here.
Mr. Francolino,
Here.
Mr. Hackett,
Here.
Ms. Haydick. Here. Mr. American,
Here.
Mr. Manger,
Here.
Mr. Novak,
Here.
Mayor O'Brien.
Here.
Mr. Clark is absent.
And we already did the open public meeting. Next is the approval of the minutes from December 21st. Which we don't, yes.
Which you do not have, and my apologies for that. It's just, I just didn't get them done.
So we will see the
We will
next
see
meeting.
them in
right?
February. My apologies. I don't think
We
I've
have to
ever done that to you
officially table
guys
that.
before.
Table the
Should we
minutes?
just-
Can I make a motion to table the minutes?
I
second the table.
Do I need, I don't need a roll call, do I need a roll call now?
No, we're just gonna,
Right, okay, so it's, okay, there's no correspondence. Okay, so all business is,
Yes, Madam Chair, the matter, the next matter to be considered by the board is the application of the Thomas Scott Family LLC, which is divided this year. If you don't mind, I'll just give the board the status of what has occurred until the last meeting.
Before you do that, I'd like to recuse myself because I live within that area of the application.
So the, yeah, you do.
plus, all right.
All right? Yes. Before the last meeting.
You did
You're down to 5, which is probably better because you needed 4 out of 6 rather than 3 out of 5.
Quick math.
I can only divide by 1/3, I'm a lawyer, but. All right, so you're okay?
Yes.
So just to bring the board up to speed for those who don't, there appears to be more audience than was here before. You may recall at the last meeting, there was some discussion and we were able to resolve an issue that was raised during the course of the hearing, which I was partly responsible for. but there was an issue as to whether or not the outdoor dining component of the application was a permitted use in the zone. And Joe had indicated in his report that it was not a permitted use, but the zoning officer had indicated that he believed it was permitted based on an ordinance that he reviewed. Mr. Spice was kind enough to allow that very important decision to be hashed out a little bit, and Mr. Hamilton issued a revised letter to the zoning officer indicating that he had looked at an ordinance where he believed it was permitted, but that was not the final ordinance that was adopted. So he issued a revised zoning letter. The revised zoning letter said that a restaurant, what they're proposing is a permitted use in the zone, but the outdoor dining component is a use variance. He did, however, and we did pass messages back and forth. In that case, under the municipal land use law, an applicant has a right to what we call bifurcate the application. A zoning board is the only board that has the expertise, the experience, and the authority to grant a use variance. However, a applicant can bifurcate the application and bring their site plan approval to the planning board, subject to a use variance approval. In this instance, Mr. Hamilton made it clear to us in his zoning letter, and we are bound by that determination, that the structure that's proposed, which is a fully conforming structure, is a site plan review consideration, and the board can hear that and decide on that little, whatever you want to call it, box, etc. I did speak to Mr. Sabitis because there were some issues that the board raised for him to consider. We were dealing with noise issues, we were dealing with how much the mechanicals would be above the fence, etc. I don't think we're going to have a very big presentation. I think Mr. Sabitis is going to tell you exactly what they have done to resolve those issues. You don't necessarily need plans because it would have to be a condition if you were to approve it. But I don't want to take too much of his thunder, because I'll probably talk longer than he has. But he's here to get the site plan approval because he's paid all the fees, he's done all the review. It's certainly much more efficient that when you're half through it, that he wants to get that site plan approval portion of it. But for purpose, people in the public, there is no longer a component of outdoor dining. And not to blow your...
That has
but
been
there will also-
withdrawn for these purposes.
And it's my understanding there will no longer be any outdoor equipment that generates those condensers that generate noise. There will no longer be outdoors. But that's up to Mr. Sabitis. He can explain it. I know he has witnesses here, but you may not even want to hear them. When you reopen for the public, you should really only reopen for that portion or those issues that were here. The public had a chance to speak last time.
Right.
On the general project, it's obviously changed considerably for your consideration. And really the comment should be limited to what Mr. Sabitis says he wants the application to be. Did I get that kind of right?
Yes.
All right. Or does anybody have any questions or concerns? Okay.
I think, let's hear Mr. Sabitis.
Okay, that's great.
He's already.
Well, Mr. Spice is the attorney. I think he's just going to represent to you what they would.
In this, it's simply, thank you, Madam Chairman and board members. It's simply a continuation of our prior meeting. We've put all the evidence on. We've had public discussion on it. We listened to everybody here, listened to the comments of the board. Obviously, with respect to the zoning office's determination, we've withdrawn that aspect of it, so there will be no outdoor dining, and that is no longer even a question or a discussion for us tonight. With respect to the walk-in cooler, we also heard board members' concerns and the public's concerns, and we came up with a very simple solution that we will stipulate for purposes of the resolution, that the condenser and all of the noise-making unit will be inside the building. There'll be 0 decibels. It'll be absolutely quiet outdoors, so there'll be no mechanical noise. That also means that the condensing unit that would have been otherwise on top of the structure is gone. So it reduces the height by about 2 feet. And again, we'd stipulate to that for purposes of the resolution. If we needed additional testimony, if you had additional questions, I certainly have the applicants, the folks here that we can go into that. I'm not sure it's necessary, but if you would like to, we certainly can.
What is so what will the height of we're still talking about the walk-in box car, will still be there, correct? That'll
Exactly,
still
so
be-
the walk-in box, the way it was described, and is included in the application, it will remain the same height. The fencing will be the same, the landscaping will be the
So
same.
what was the height going to be?
8 feet.
It was, with the condenser on top was 8 feet.
Yeah, so what would it be?
The box is 8
I'm
feet,
sorry.
but the condenser is 10 feet.
Okay, so
Right, so the top will just be a flat.
and the
unambiguous.
fencing and the shrubbery will go up to the 8 feet?
Yes, we will plant, have plantings arborvitae around the outside, which will.
The dimensions are the same exactly. except for the
Nothing
condenser
changes
itself.
other than the condenser and all the noise-making mechanicals come out of it completely. And we've accommodated that inside the building. So that, there will be no sound.
The rest of it will be basically the same drawing as that you gave us the last time.
Nothing else changes.
So,
Does anyone have any questions?
So the unit's 8 feet high,
Correct.
there's a fence around it,
Yes,
it's 8 feet high,
correct.
and there's shrubs around the fence.
Yes. Just as shown in the application.
8 feet, 6 and 4.
Okay.
So, and the fence height is
It is 8 feet.
8 feet. Now, did you bring a revised drawing yet? At the end of the last meeting, Mr. Giver had requested a drawing, an actual drawing for us to show us exactly what it would look like as a finish from the driveway. And also it being inside, but of course, if that's no longer an issue being inside, I was expecting to see the actual rendering of what it will look like standing in that.
I think our original plans did show exactly what it would look like. I think that mechanical portion on that plan, is that accurate? Do you have those?
I have them, and I'm sure.
Right here. The only difference is here, you did say a 6-foot high vinyl fence on the original one, so that would be changed to.
Yeah, we will make an 8
Well,
feet fence.
we discussed that, I think, in the open discussion, we just said we'd make it 8. Yes.
I think as far as revised
The
drawings,
arborvitae's were 8 feet, but the
I think Rich Giver wanted the drawings that we were gonna be putting,
yeah, big
uh,
cool.
The thing that-
Well, we would propose now that we don't need that
Right.
because of the
Exactly.
changes.
Yes,
Right.
and, yes, correct. The size of the box is the same. obviously.
Yes, nothing on the footprint changes.
And then, did you just?
Yeah, but I thought that what Rich
Well, I think
was
we-
asking
yeah.
for was a rendering,
Right.
a rendering of what it
Right,
will
but
look
we
like.
changed the concept so that rendering that he was asking for no longer is relevant. The top is gone, the arborvitae,
condenser.
the cupola, the top portion, which he was looking for, will no longer be there.
It's not gonna be a pergola on top now?
Yeah, pergola, thank you.
To
Oh, man.
You want pergola?
sort of have, I just want to know what it will look like. I mean, it's hard for me to just imagine from
I
the
think
drawing.
this one is fenced-in parking space.
Right.
Which,
That's right. We lose 2 spaces, we still have more than enough, and so that area
Yeah.
becomes this area.
So
Yeah, I don't have the color drawing, I don't know if we have that. And next question for Joe. So do we have a limit on the fence height in?
Actually, a few years ago, the board adopted a height increase to 8 feet adjacent to residential, so in my opinion, that would apply in this respect. That's the reason that some fences have an actual increase in conservation. That was, I think, 2014, I believe. So,
And I think a couple of public members, last time their comments were to that effect, that they'd like to see it covered like that.
Madam Chair, so I suggest to the board, so based on this, and I didn't know the full extent of what this proffer would be, but although we skipped meetings because of the issue, I think that really your public hearing is actually done, and the applicant has said at the conclusion of his case that he would accept the conditions of the approval that eliminated any application for outdoor dining, and that he was eliminating any condenser unit and house. This condition of approval, he agreed that there would be no outside mechanicals. He agrees to a 8-foot fence, and I think he's asking for the board for a decision just on that issue. I want to be clear, I don't think you need any further testimony, because it's essentially, we heard their complaint, some of the complaints of neighbors, this is what we would agree is a condition of approval, certainly up to the board. I would remind you that this is a no variance, no waiver application from a site plan perspective. I don't know if prior council advised the board that there is case, you know what an as-of-right plan is. You are entitled to impose reasonable conditions, but a fully conforming site plan is required by law to be approved, and I very rarely tell a client that you have to do something, but if you believe that there are no variances and no waivers, there's a case called Piso Man that said, if they comply with all the rules, you have to approve it. You can impose reasonable conditions, and that's always a battle, but I want you to consider it. Please be certain, though, if you do approve this application, you are in no way endorsing, because the applicant has every right to go for a use variance for outdoor dining. And whether their present intention is not to, that doesn't mean tomorrow they can't change their mind. Your permitting this is in no way, if you do vote to approve it, it is in no way endorsing the concept of outdoor dining. There's no way trying to influence any decision made by the zoning board. If they do apply, we're just stating that zoning officers determine you're permitted to do this on your property. There's no variances associated with it, and impose what conditions are you feel necessary. Is that talking too much? Very thorough.
Thank you, yes.
But we talked so much at the last hearing, and got so confusing, I mean, well, it just materialized down to a very tiny issue, and Mr. Spider said, we're taking mechanicals away, we're, not doing outdoor dining, it all of a sudden became a little, I don't know what the area is, but a little box on 2 parking spaces.
Less of an issue.
Madam Chair, for clarity purposes, I just want to go over Williams. A, is there any lighting associated with the box? Will be underground.
Well, the electric going to it was
Yeah.
supposed to be underground.
I think we gave testimony last time to all the issues that were brought up in the engineer's report on the site plan review 2.0. And yes, everything will be underground, the light will be as stated. No condensing, piping, I forget all the other detail we had there,
But that would be eliminated too.
yes.
Well, there will be underground piping from the units that are in the building, but they'll be underground.
Everything will be underground to the building, yes.
Okay.
So there'll be no overhead or, correct.
Any exterior lighting associated with the box?
There's just a light above the door on the box.
Yeah.
We have lighting on the building right in that area, so we're not.
Right, there's no additional,
No additional site.
right.
Okay. I just want to be sure that that's not going at the residence, but the door will be
Facing the building.
Facing the building, so it'll be on the inside.
All right.
And it's definitely going to be locked. I mean, if
Yes, absolutely.
No, I don't think you don't need to open meetings. All these testimony was provided, you need to deliberate and make determinations. It doesn't matter, the application, just so the public understands, you don't normally get 2 shots at it. The application was presented, you made your comments, the applicant has indicated that they have agreed to withdraw their outdoor lighting and no condensing unit, so there's no change to the testimony that they previously provided. In my opinion, the hearing was concluded, the chair and the board could always reopen it if they choose. But, you have to have an attorney represent the applicant and be careful about the way, and this is a procedure, but it's certainly up to the board, whether or not they want to hear something about something else.
Well, I think basically we're just voting on the freezer box being important. Does anyone on the board have anything else?
Do we need a motion to vote, or what?
Yeah, but
I'll
I
make
just
a
wanted to
motion
see
to
if
vote.
You have to say whether it's to approve or deny.
You have to decide whether you would like to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve their site plan.
I'll second it.
Now, with that motion, they'll be subject to their compliance with any outstanding conditions of the engineer, that it be conditioned upon the removal wall, proposed outdoor mechanical equipment inside the building, that there will be no adverse lighting impacts. Those utilities will be underground. The fence will be 8 feet. The vinyl is not 16 feet low by the plan. That it would be and all the standards.
Yes. Standard.
Yes, and they're shown on the plans too.
Yes.
Yes.
And can we make a condition that because I think if I'm saying this correctly, is that the condenser and all mechanicals, noise-making mechanicals will be 0 decibels according to what you.
They'll all be
your customers.
indoors, that is correct.
Right, so it'd be 0 decibels, I'd like, as a condition of the,
Well, they're going to be making noise inside the building.
well,
Nothing
exterior.
nothing
Noise, look at it, I'm just taking it strictly from the testimony it was, and the condenser and all noise-making mechanicals will be 0 decibels. That's the testimony, and that's what I.
Outside.
0 decibels.
Outside, yes, outside, absolutely outside, not
Yes.
inside.
They may hear it in the restaurant.
Great. No. And then it would be just fully landscaped. Can we stipulate that 8-foot arborvitae to start with, not a 4-foot grown to an 8-foot? So that we have a
Well,
beautiful.
whatever makes the
Yeah,
motion.
oh, absolutely. Yeah, we want this to look right too.
Yeah, it's on the plans.
Yes.
So you want more mature arborvitae to be.
The ones around
Yes.
town, plan, that's the intent. And we could work with the engineer for this choice if we want to see that.
Roll call, Janine?
So do
I'm
we have all those stipulations for them?
I have just actually kind of just.
Still ready.
Oh, okay.
I got it, they'll be memorializing resolution, so if I miss anything,
Okay.
the board will bring that up. We see that before the board sees it, Janine sees it, Joe sees it. We want to make sure we try to cover everything. But it'll
And it's
be in the
recorded.
memorializing.
I just missed who made the second motion.
I did.
Thank you. Mrs. Eilenberger?
Yes.
Mr. Francolino?
Abstain.
Thank you. Mr. Hackett?
Yes.
Ms. Haydick?
Yes.
Mr. American?
You did.
Oh, I'm sorry, my apologies. Mr. Manger? Thank you. Mr. Novak?
Yes.
Mayor O'Brien?
Yes.
Motion passed.
The members of the public, what has occurred is the board has approved only that portion of the application that dealt with a, I don't want to use the word small, but a box that was accessory to a restaurant use. All the issues with respect to outdoor dining are no longer part of that approval. There will be no mechanicals. By the next board meeting, if we are having a meeting with something, that maybe the next following it, there'll be a resolution memorializing that decision. It's a written a statement of what occurred, what conditions there are, that has significant legal impacts, and you're welcome to, once the board adopts it, to see what that resolution says. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Touch talking about. Post-meeting, they just shut that down to the public. Totally shut us down. It's just hanging here for me.
feel like it would have gone off track. Yeah.
Hi, Pat. Good, happy New Year.
There's only so much.
But now, that's my meeting, and well, it's time to communicate someone else.
What about something?
Okay, you're in your car, okay.
I
texted my friend.
You'd be stuck on the attraction.
I wanted to have a committee to start with these ordinances. First of all, to begin with, what about
It just means there's inside.
I'd like to show up.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry. Do have a committee, but I wanted to know what's the.
You need a microphone, closer to the
Yes,
chair.
close it right.
Come on, Mayor, give us your help.
What I want to know is what is the most amount we can have without.
Anyway, after all is said and done, she introduces me to my husband, and that's your brother. It's Sharon Barrow. I knew the story was going somewhere, right? Isn't that crazy?
Yeah,
So
so you
that she
can't,
says to me, I'm now Sharon.
4 people leave one day and then 3 people leave the next.
And she said something.
Both leave that. Or,
Yeah, we would just come up with the ordinance, with what it was, and then present it to Sharon with the final decision class.
In order to make that a logical process, wouldn't it be a good idea to have this committee meet an hour before our normal board meeting? Regularly? I'm just throwing that out there, making a question on it, so that anybody would not question whether we had a formal date and time, meaning that they can come to the public and hear what we're working
well, I would only, from my perspective, just because having gone, I'm relatively new here, okay? We did go through a process, if you recall, regarding some setback issues, height issues. I think we have to, the committee is designed not to be an open public forum to allow you to, it's not, say things that you otherwise may not do. Certainly everything that you decide to do is contemplated at a board meeting and, things on the website. But we have to make that committee also to interact with representatives of the committee, because if they're not, if the committee's not inclined to spend money on ordinances or things like that, you want to make sure you're not spending. Right. But I would open to the public to meet, however they want to meet, so it could be here for people. And when we did the rules and regs, I don't even know when we met.
In the afternoon or something, right?
So it's really, to the committee. And I guess Joe would be certainly on that, and it was more about that, I would think. So, whatever you want. Actually, definitely, just several gaps. 45 an hour, 45 cents an hour. We understand that concern.
Yeah. I would like to be on the committee, but then, so I can have 3 other. I'd like Nancy to be there because of the fact that she's very familiar with ordinances, so. Make sure we're not going off tracks. And then, would anyone else want to volunteer?
All I know is that they actually
Hit people. Anyone want to jump in? Nobody.
I'm not exactly sure what we're trying to accomplish. Can we describe that a little bit?
Well, I'm trying to, one, there's the, if you remember the B3 zone, the wording in there, we have that one issue with the wording, which has to be changed. Plus, there's about 4 or 5 or 6 ordinances that we've
Better than what it looked
been
like.
trying to get approved for a while, but I thought we should really maybe
Kind of all
kind of
stuff
try and see if we can get moving. So the idea would be to just review those and come up with, you know, what we want to, and then present it to
It will look good,
the
you'll be
planning
pleased.
board, and then see which ones we think we can take to the council and, you know, get
So
approved.
now we have about 6 or 7 things tidied up,
Right.
and so I'd like to be on that.
You put me on it, but my only thing is I just need to know if I can
Okay.
meeting at Midtown, so, you know, as it is, making it here by 7, pushing it, so I just want to make sure, but I have no problem being here.
I understand, thank you.
So for now, from myself and James Wall, and somebody in front.
So the new chair talks softly, but I hear she carries a case.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Turn that microphone
Turn
over.
that down. Well, usually we don't have the whole crowd out
You're
there.
gonna have to lean into the
I have to
mic.
lean into the microphone.
5.
No, that's too
I
many.
can't have 5. so,
You have 4 people, should I have 4
That's
people on the
right.
committee?
Right.
I mean, you could certainly, if you have 3 people there, invite 4 in the corner, I would try the corner, but you don't want a pattern of that, because then you're trying to,
Right.
not have 5.
Right.
There's a lot of
Yeah, we can't.
Roy, so he knows he can be here on time.
Okay. Right, yeah. All right.
So we're at Nancy.
Okay. So we decide when we want to meet, but like I said, I'd like to start on especially the one about the B3 zone, because we need to resolve that.
That's one of the only things that are television, is like E3,
So.
Let's come up with something else, just.
No, I have,
which I
somewhere
read
I
about
have
before I
a,
was aware.
I have the list of the different things we was talking about for the last 2 years, that other issues we'd like to. And we could, I don't know if Neil Hamilton has any other issues that he has seen come up.
I can definitely ask him to put a list together, I think that's,
It's a good point, because he's probably.
Because he, right, yeah, right. Okay, so, I'll get together with it. What do you want to set it for the next,
February
February.
17th.
So we'll say 6 o'clock then?
Right.
Okay, so
Yeah,
February
but
15th.
we may not actually have a meeting. I mean, we may not
Well, we
actually have a
probably
meeting.
will, because we'll
Oh, we'll do
memorialize this
resolution. Okay,
resolution.
all right, so
And
we'll
we'll
set
do
it
the
for
minutes
6
from
o'clock.
December and January.
That's right, that's right.
So we will be here.
So we will be
Yeah,
here.
It might be a short one, but we'll have it.
So you want to have your committee meeting?
Joe thinks we'll have an
at 6 o'clock?
Yes. Let's get
Just for an understanding, although it's not technically an application now, so we have an application coming up from Spring Lake, Golf Club. Mr. Hamilton had called me on several months ago, just an issue with things on the property. Unfortunately, my law partner was consulted by the people that were driving me, bring the application. My law partner was driving. He was consulted by the people that were bringing the application.
We need a substitute lawyer.
And when he said, you mean the Spring Lake Heights, Spring Lake Golf Club is in Spring Lake Heights. He called me and said, oh my God, there's a problem. That creates a real problem for me. He did not do it on purpose. He was like, oh my God, because he said, oh, don't worry, I'll call the attorney. I'm sure I know. And the guy said, well, of course you do, it's just law. What are you talking about? So, I have confidence in have to get a competent lawyer. I can recommend somebody, or we could get Mr. Kitchen, some zoning board, whatever the board is so inclined to do.
When do you think this is going to happen?
Well, Joe just indicated that he may get it on for, I mean, I had no idea, I know they applied for the zoning. So maybe I'll find somebody, find somebody.
I'll know,
So is that foreign works that could come in?
Sorry about that, my partner.
So should we have somebody ready? Is that,
I think we'll get ready
Yeah.
to make a decision with the attorney.
does that mean, has anybody worked with Mr. Kishner?
He's right, he's your zoning board?
Yeah, he's the zoning.
I mean, if nobody has a problem with him, why don't we use somebody that's already working with our town?
Well, that's what I was gonna say, or even Gary.
Yeah, either way.
Like, we might as well just use ones that we already here.
Yeah, that they already know the town.
Right, exactly.
So I will reach out, I'll reach out for Mark first.
Right, yeah, because he's more familiar with the land use.
Yeah, he's a land use guy.
Great.
Okay, sorry about that, I mean, I can't sit on the screen, they call it, you got to age, that would actually take some money.
Gotta get his poor buddy on the
And
same page.
my partner did not do it as, for money, it was just, people he knew, who were doing. So, and I can say that I will tell you the joke was public, the guy who's actually shepherding the application is a well-known real estate approval for all so when I was dealing with the property, Mr. Appleton, months ago, parking in a car, parked in the wrong spot. I said, you're gonna come in for approval, and I am gonna recommend that condition of any golf club in Springwood Heights should be called Springwood Heights Golf Club. And he went almost, quite a long time, I'm thinking I was dead serious.
Good idea.
All right, so I apologize for that, and I'll call Mr. Kitchen, make sure he's available, or someone from, because you hire Mark Kitchen in his firm, all the people in his firm do exactly what I do, represent town boards, school boards. So John Jackson does it, John Jackson is partner, does it all over the place too. So we'll see who's one.
Anyone else have anything before we adjourn?
Make a motion, we adjourn.
I'll second.